Okay, I'm here to introduce our next speaker. So on the panel, we were talking about, we say like it start now, go, 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 art of the start. I think I love what Caroline said. It takes time. Diane says it's not going to be perfect. Jen, it's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And when I find that I'm going too fast and I'm not checking in, that's when I know that I need to slow down, focus on my strengths, which I have a hunch that we might have somebody coming up next that can guide us through this. Our next speaker is Matt Corker. He's the CEO and the co-founder of Corker Collective. He's a fitness instructor. He's a yoga master. He's a people consultant. And most important to me, he is also my business coach who has guided me through 3 different business transitions. He has studied extensively in strengths, and this is something that has helped me so much over the course of my business. So I am just elated to introduce Matt Corker. Take it away.
Holy heck, this feels really cool, and I have been ridiculously inspired by everyone who's already shared. So thank you to everyone who lended your expertise to us this morning. I jam on strengths as if it was eating watermelon. I just want more, more, more. And I'm going to take what I would give in an 8-month experience or a 4-hour workshop, and we're going to condense it into the juiciest 10 minutes you've ever experienced. What I first want you to know is I thought I should bring in one of my good friends, Ray. Ray and I have been working together from a coaching perspective over the last 8 months. And Ray is a serial entrepreneur. He has been a solo entrepreneur. He then pivoted to work in small business. He's done some consulting work on retainer. And what was unique about Ray was he came to me because he was feeling ineffective. He was feeling like he just wasn't hitting his stride in any of these. And now let's get really clear. He had his marketing plan, and he had his business model, and he did the business model canvas, and he had his SWOT analysis, and he hired the small team to help him. And what I want you to know is he already knew. So like, here's the truth. He already knew. He already knew that he couldn't do anything on his own. I'll say that again. We can't do anything on our own. Who created Zoom? Not me, probably not anyone on this call. So even being here, I didn't make this chair, I didn't cook, I didn't like grow the food that I ate this morning. There's so much of our life that we are blind to the fact that we actually can't do anything on our own. So when we start something, we feel like it's all me. No, it's never been all you. And so let the start mirror the rest of your life. And so Ray was already awake to this. So he knew he had his small little team to support him, whether that be with advisors or paid employees, but he knew he needed to do it on his own. But he wasn't feeling like himself. He wasn't feeling purposeful. And it was that feeling of, what do I do with this, that really motivated him to reach out. And so I said, well, Ray, let's like explore this a little bit more. And let's talk about your strengths. He was like, oh yeah, Matt, I know my strengths. I did a SWOT analysis. I know my strengths and weaknesses when I need to interview for a new job or a new client. And I was like, no. Let's redefine today what a strength and a weakness are. So entertain me today. For today, consider that the definition of a strength is a task or activity that you do that makes you feel strong. So a strength is a task or activity that you do that makes you feel strong. So it's something you do that gives you this feeling of strength. And therefore, a weakness would be, by definition for today, is a task or activity you do that makes you feel weak. So on one side, you got tasks or activities that make you feel strong. On the other side, you have your weaknesses, the tasks or activities that make you feel weak. Now, here's the interesting thing. Some of us have become quite skilled in our weaknesses, meaning I have been rewarded or recognized so often for being good at something, and I don't have an appetite for it. people will pay me money to do it. Sure, if you pay me enough money, I will pivot table anything for you in Excel. I will do the financial modeling for your business, but that's going to cost you a lot of money because I don't enjoy doing it. Your strengths are the areas that we really want to invest in. That's where we want to offer. That's what we want to do. And I say all this, and Kate alluded to it a little bit. There have been 2 decades of research done by the Gallup Institute, originally with Marcus Buckingham at Gallup. And then he carried on the strengths-based research he was doing in his own organization, the Marcus Buckingham Company, which has now been bought out by ADP. So these are like big, large organizations that have been researching strengths across 73 different countries, 1.8 plus million people being interviewed. And they said, how do we get people to be more effective, more profitable, teams to be safer in the workplace? How do we ensure that we have a decreased retention? What is the question that gives us the most causality? Meaning not correlated, not like, oh, these 2 things go at the same time. It's like it gets hot out and people start wearing different clothes. That could be correlated, but it's not necessarily causation. And they said, the one question we can ask ourselves is, here it is. If you're writing things down, this is the question to ask yourself. Do I have the opportunity to use my strengths every day? Do I have the opportunity to use my strengths every day? And the people that are able to say yes, or most of the time, they're able to create more rich and rewarding experiences, not only for themselves, but for other people. So here's what I want you to do. Knowing that this isn't just philosophy, this isn't just, these are findings, these are scientific research that I share with you. So it's like a strengths-based approach to your business, can be the same strengths-based approach to your life. And it gets me so excited because I'm like, listen, like, here are the facts on the wall. Like, climate change is real. Like, here are the things that we know from science. Science tells us that a strengths-based approach will allow you to feel more fulfilled in your work. So how do I identify that, Matt? Great question. Glad you asked. So what you want to think about first are collecting your ing verbs. So verbs, action words that end ing. Creating, climbing, baking, cooking, researching, managing, directing, advising, communicating. What are those words? And then ask yourself, what do I do with those? Said differently, what's the context? What's the content? Who are the people that you do that for? Does any of that matter? You know, I was thinking about Jackie Carr this morning, and I was like, man, that woman knows how to rock a stage. And so I would say, like, presenting or speaking is probably one of the ing verbs that Jackie could use. For me, it's advising. I love advising people. And then I thought, okay, well, does who I advise matter? Like, advise anyone? I'm like, no. I like to advise people leaders. I like to advise people who are responsible for the development and the space that they hold. Yoga teachers, team managers, CEOs of organizations. I like those people. So yes, I want to advise people leaders. And then I think, okay, well, does the context matter? So does the subject matter to me? And then I think, so could I advise them on anything? I'm like, no. I specifically come alive when I get to advise people leaders on their personal and business growth. I want to help them grow as a leader. I want to help them grow in a business, but like, I'm not here to be a therapist. And so I'm not here to advise people on that side. So when you're thinking about these ing verbs, sometimes it can be really general. Like, some people may put down cooking as a strength. Like, that makes me come alive and I'm good at it. And you could be like, and I could cook anything. It could be on a barbecue. It could be in a kitchen. I could be over an open fire at a campsite. I don't care where it is. Cooking makes me come alive. I'm like, great, keep it. And when we get more specific with our strengths, we create a level of clarity that we can communicate to our clients, to our team members, so that they know what to come to us for and what not to come to us for. Hey, this is what we do. This is who I am. This is the services I offer. This is who I am for you. Don't come to me for these. So we can create an understanding, not because there's a need in the market, not because we see an opportunity to capitalize on a community or a selling opportunity, but because we're being able to be authentic in our way of offering our services and being to the world. Now, here's the thing. I hear a lot, okay, well, Matt, what's the test that I could take? What's the, like, give me the StrengthsFinders 3.0, give me the BuzzFeed quiz. There isn't one. I'll say that again. There isn't a test out there that will be able to identify your strength. And for some people, that's so relieving. They're like, yes, don't put me in a box. And there's other people being like, oh my God, please put me in a box. Like, just help me, put me, like, give me something. And so what I want you to do is just create your ing verbs. Start there, start general, and then ask yourself, how do I make that more specific? Does what I do matter? Does who I do it for matter? Does the context or the environment matter? So that you can give yourself the ability to create your own definition. Your strengths will change over time. So let them change over time. Now, here's the thing. If you're like, okay, I need another litmus test, how do I also, like, I'm still struggling a little bit on identifying my strengths. Here's 4 things I want you to know. Number 1 is, are you excited to do it? Do you actively look forward when this is on your to-do list? Are you like, ooh, that's going to be a good one? So there's an excitement there. The second is that you feel effective when you're doing it. So there is this, like, I feel purposeful, like I feel like I did a good job. I feel effective. I feel purposeful. The third is I'm focused while I'm doing it. So when I'm doing this task, time evaporates. When I'm doing this task, people could be notifying me, like I'm not picking up my phone, I'm not checking Instagram, like I am absorbed in this task. And then the fourth one is, at the end, do I have a sense of fulfillment? Now, this is the sneaky one, because sometimes when we're working on a weakness, when we're doing something that makes us feel weak, that's like holding our breath underwater. And so when we come up for air, when we finally cross that off our to-do list, it's this sense of relief. We're like, oh, thank God, like I do not have to do that again. That is not what I'm mentioning. So afterward, you feel fulfilled. It may have taken energy, it may have taken effort to be in your strengths, but there's a sense of like, man, I did a good job, and like, I am so proud, versus, oh, thank God that's over. So to be in your strengths, you want to know that afterwards you're excited, you feel effective, you're focused, and there's a sense of fulfillment, not relief. But Matt, there's some things that I need to do that aren't in my strengths. There's some things that I need to do that require me to work in these areas of my weaknesses. What do I do? I hear you. 4 things, 4 Ds. Ready? Don't do them. Don't do them. What if you changed the way business was done and you just didn't do that thing that you think you should do? What if you just gave yourself the permission to say, no, I don't do that. Everyone else does it, sure, but they don't have my strengths, they don't have my weaknesses, and that makes me feel weak. So number 1, don't do it. Some of you needed to hear that. And there's 3 other options for you, for those of you who need something else. The second option is delegate it. Team up with someone. Because my weaknesses, so for example, like my weakness is business development. I am horrible at selling anything. Like I'll just like, that's a very general statement. And my sister is impeccable at it. And so I team up, I lean on her because I know that my weakness is one of her strengths. So again, get that support system and team up so that you can delegate off the activities that make you feel weak.
Bro, I need the next two super fast.
Coming at you, 15 seconds. Number 3, do it differently. Leverage one of your strengths. So I love researching, but I don't like researching alone. So I want to find communities and groups to research together. The 4th is then to do it now. Put it on your to-do list, set a timer, make that mark. Do it absolutely now. Don't waste time, because psychological stress, like Mark said, will create physical stress. Do it now. If you're looking to start your business, my request and my invitation is to not look for the opportunity, but the opportunity to leverage your strengths to be in service to your community. Don't do it, delegate it, do it differently, do it now. Holy cow, I'm so glad we have the next speaker here. Steph, over to you. Go live a strengths-based world.